Hello, and welcome to the first chapter in this literature series. This is Exit, Pursued by a Pair, and I'm your host, Emmeline Clay. Murder, ambition, and the supernatural, Shakespeare's Macbeth is one of the most thrilling plays ever written. But what if I told you that the story of the Scottish king isn't just about drama and betrayal, but also a reflection of the fears, beliefs, and values of Shakespeare's time? Now let's dive into the world of Macbeth and uncover how the attitudes of the early 17th century shaped this dark and gripping tragedy. So first, let's set the stage. Shakespeare wrote Macbeth in the early 1600s, during the reign of King James I. James had recently taken the throne after the legendary Elizabeth I, and he was obsessed with two things. One, securing his rule, and two, the supernatural. He even wrote a book on witchcraft called Demonology. With this in mind, it's no surprise that Macbeth features witches as a central force of evil. The play taps into widespread fears of witchcraft, which led to hundreds of trials and executions in England and Scotland during the time period. Another key influence, the divine right of kings. This was the idea that monarchs were chosen by God, and that rebelling against them was not just a crime, it was blasphemy. In Macbeth, the protagonist's bloody rise to power and his ultimate downfall reinforce this belief. Shakespeare wasn't just telling a story, he was sending a message. Overthrowing a king leads to chaos, suffering, and divine punishment. Given that James I had survived the infamous failed assassination of the 1605 gunpowder plot, this message would have been especially powerful. Now, let's talk about gender roles. The expectations for men and women in Shakespeare's time were very clear. Men were supposed to be strong, rational leaders, while women were expected to be obedient and nurturing. Macbeth, however, flips those roles. Lady Macbeth challenges her husband's masculinity and even wishes she could cast off her womanhood to commit violent acts. Her ambition defies the norms of the time, making her one of Shakespeare's most fascinating and controversial female characters. But in the end, she pays the price, which reinforces the traditional belief that ambitious women were dangerous. Religion was also at the heart of 17th century life, and Macbeth is filled with religious imagery. When Macbeth murders King Duncan, he immediately loses God's favour. He cannot pray, and he hears voices condemning him. The idea that committing a terrible sin would lead to eternal damnation was a real fear for Shakespeare's audience. And then there are the witches. To us, they might seem like a cool, supernatural element, but to the people in Shakespeare's day, they were terrifying symbols of real evil, agents of the devil himself. So, what does this all mean? Macbeth isn't just a thrilling tale of power and betrayal, it's a reflection of its time. It taps into the fears of witchcraft, reinforces the importance of rightful kingship, explores gender expectations, and warns against sin and ambition. And yet, centuries later, the play still grips us. Maybe that's because those fears and desires, power, ambition, and guilt, are still deeply human. So, next time you watch or read Macbeth, remember, you're not just watching a play, you're looking through a window into Shakespeare's world. And what do you think? Was Shakespeare subtly questioning his society, or was he reinforcing the status quo? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into literature, history, and culture. Until next time, I shall exit, pursued by a pair.